you.
So we signed numerous executive orders today, as you know, and very successful. I think we'll give you a little rundown with Caroline. Want to come over here, Will? You know Will. Why don't we open this door?
Yes, we can.
From now on, we should use this one. Some more room, yeah. Go ahead. So we're going to give you a little bit of a rundown on the executive office.
Go for it, Will.
Good evening, y'all. Will Sharp, White House Staff Secretary. The President just signed 5 items in the forward cabin of Air Force One. First is an executive order, as he alluded to in his speech earlier, reinstating members of the military who were terminated or forced to separate because of the vaccine mandates. The second item was an executive order establishing a process to develop what we're calling an American Iron Dome, a comprehensive missile defense shield to defend the American homeland. The third executive order that President Trump signed relates to eliminating gender radicalism in the military. And the fourth is about eliminating DEI and DEI set-asides and DEI offices within the military. Lastly, the President signed a proclamation commemorating the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz concentration camp. The Trump administration sent a delegation to an event at Auschwitz. I believe that occurred today. This proclamation memorializes that event and expresses, obviously, sympathy to the victims and the people of Poland as well.
Pretty good recap when you said it.
Very good.
Pretty smart guy.
Do you guys have questions?
So we had a very good week, to put it mildly. A lot of things have been happening. We turned on the water today in California, pleased to report, and the water is beginning to flow. It should have flowed 7 years ago, but it's now beginning to flow, and a lot of good things are happening for our country.
Mr. President, what level do you want to set your tariffs at on steel, aluminum, copper, what you announced today?
Yeah.
What level would you want to set that at, and when would that begin?
Well, I won't be setting it yet. I have it in my mind what it is going to be, but I won't be setting it yet. But it'll be enough to protect our country.
Sir, do you have a comment on the stock market falling so fast today? It seemed like you were pretty okay with China developing the AI technology to sort of see how that would go.
I think it could be good because if it comes in cheaper, that's going to benefit us too. So it's a technology, and if it comes in cheaper, I think it could affect us too, positively.
You talking about chasing the rabbit. Is the rabbit going to get away now? Are we at risk of losing AI supremacy?
If there's a different way of doing something, other people are going to be announcing various AI solutions as soon as next week, from what I understand, which will top that one. So we're going to see. Look, it's a very new world in that sense. This is very complex stuff, and frankly, if you can do it cheaper, if you can do it less, we get to the same end result. I think that's a good thing for us.
Are you concerned about China's dominance in AI, Mr. President?
No, we're going to dominate. We'll dominate everything.
You talked today about being hopeful you were close to a deal with a third country to take deportees. Can you tell us who you're talking to and how close you are to a deal?
We have numerous countries, and they are very happy to take them, and obviously they benefit in certain ways through trade or whatever, but we have numerous countries that will take them, yes.
Albania was in the news as one of the possibilities. Is that one you're talking to?
Could be one of them.
Mr. President, is Microsoft in discussion for acquiring TikTok?
I would say yes.
You spoke
a lot of interest in TikTok. There's great interest in TikTok.
You spoke about, different companies bidding for it. You want them to bid for it. Are you talking about a bidding war?
I like bidding wars because you make your best deal. So if there's a bidding war, that's a good thing. But we have a lot of interest in it, in TikTok.
Who else besides
Because it's very dry. It's very clear. If I sign, then somebody's going to buy it, pay a lot of money, have a lot of jobs, keep a platform open, and have it be very secure. If I don't sign, then it closes.
What are some of the other companies, sir,
I'd
that are
rather not
involved?
say, but you'll be able to figure it out. But all top of the line.
And on Colombia, sir, we saw what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
You announced and then they backed down. How does that impact cooperation with the country going forward? Do you think they'll stop migrants crossing the Darien Gap going forward?
They're going to. That's part of the deal. Part of the deal is if they have to stop that, they have to do what they have to do. And I think that will be, I think it's really, it serves the world well to look at it. We're in a very strong position. We're going to remain in a strong position. We're going to get much stronger with time. And people were laughing at our country a year ago. They're not laughing anymore.
Mr. President, what did you learn from the episode in Colombia
weekend?
Peace through strength.
What's your reaction to the Middle East? Your comments to us on Saturday about sort of cleaning out the area and potentially, starting almost with a clean slate really caused quite a stir. Were you watching that, and do you have any other?
What caused the stir?
When you talked to us on Saturday about Gaza and the possibility that there more than 1.5 million people moved out of there.
Well, I'd like to get them living in an area where they can live without disruption and revolution and violence so much as when you look at the Gaza Strip, it's been hell for so many years. And it just seems to me there's been various civilizations on that strip, and it didn't start here. It started thousands of years before, and there's always been violence associated with it. So I think you can get people living in areas that are a lot safer, maybe a lot better, and maybe a lot more comfortable.
So what does that mean for the two-state solution? Are you still committed to a Palestinian state existing alongside Israel?
I'm going to be speaking with Bibi Netanyahu in the not-too-distant future. He's coming here to meet with me.
Have you got a date? Is that set?
Very soon.
Have you spoken with Al-Sisi yet? You said you were thinking
I have. I spoke.
What was his response to that?
I think his response is he'd like to see peace in the Middle East.
Would he be open to taking Palestinians onto?
I would like to see peace in the Middle East.
But he wasn't. He didn't express any opinion on taking Palestinians into Egypt.
I'd love to do that. I wish he would take some. I mean, we help them a lot, and I'm sure he'd help us. He's a friend of mine. He's in a very rough part of the world. To be honest, it's a rough, as they say, it's a rough neighborhood. But I think he would do it, and I think the King of Jordan would do it too.
Mr. President, any reason you changed guidance for ICE to allow them to arrest non-criminals over criminals?
No, we're going to work with Tom Homan and his people. They're doing a fantastic job. They're getting criminals at a tremendous rate out of our country. Really hardline criminals, very, very bad people. I mean, they were talking about shackles. Can you imagine? You have murderers, drug lords, gang members, killers of so many different variety, and they don't want them to be shackled. How would you like to be two pilots sitting up front of the plane, and you have 300 people in the plane that are murderers, drug lords, and everything else, and you're supposed to fly them without being shackled? That doesn't make sense. So, but it's all worked out very well with Colombia. I appreciate that they agreed to do what we wanted them to do.
Now, with Colombia, you used tariffs as a tool to get something, but you've also talked today of it being a way of raising revenue, the way it was in the 19th century. Do you see it both options, or is there one that you prefer over another?
Not only with Colombia, with everyone else.
But it could raise revenue as well as be a tool.
It was when we were at our best in terms of financial, as you know. From 1870 to 1913, that's when we were really, relatively speaking, at our strongest economically.
Mr. President, there's reporting that Secretary Besson would like to propose a 2.5% universal baseline tariff and then grow that from there. Is that something that you would support?
Well, I haven't heard that. We very much agree on everything. I mean, he's talking about 25%.
2.5, sorry. 2.5% to start and then grow it from there.
2.5% tariff?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's saying that. No, that wouldn't be acceptable. I don't think he said that.
You want
Mr.
bigger?
President?
Huh?
You want bigger than 2.5?
Much bigger.
You had a chat with Prime Minister Modi, Mr. President. How did that go? I mean,
Right.
especially, did immigration come up at all?
Yeah,
I mean,
everything came up. I had a long talk with him this morning, and he's going to be coming to the White House over the next month, probably in February. We have a very good relationship with India.
did he agree to take back illegal, immigrants?
He will do what's right. We discussed it, but he will do what's right.
Mr. President, you also talked to UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Can you tell us a bit about that conversation?
Very good conversation. We get along very well. He's liberal, but not everybody can be perfect.
Have you decided whether that's going to be your first trip now?
We haven't. No, we haven't. We're talking to Saudi Arabia. We're talking to a lot of people would like the first trip of the President of the United States to go to their country. So we'll make that determination over the next week, I would say.
A year ago, you shared one of our Daily Mail graphics suggesting you would seek revenge in your second term. Is that what motivates you now, revenge over your critics?
No. Remember my statement? Success will be my revenge. Success will be my revenge.
Sir, can you clarify something for us that you said on Saturday? You were asked a question about whether Elon Musk has an office in the West Wing. You talked about how there was an office that was used for executive orders. Does Elon have his own office in the West Wing?
We have an office for almost 40 people using it,
headed
up by him. And those people take my executive orders, and you see this. It's like I just signed 5 of them, actually. It's 4 plus 1. We did something on the Holocaust, as you know, and all very important. And that group of 40 very smart people goes around to make sure they're worked on, that the executive order is worked on and accepted and done. As an example, water started flowing down in California, I say off the record, without anybody else's approval, except for the approval that we needed, the legal approval that we needed. So water is going to start flowing into California like it should have when I first brought it up many years ago.
So it's headed up by him, that office.
So the office is used by all 40 people as a place to coordinate with the White House.
Sir, we're landing in 5 minutes.
Have you been briefed on the search for the missing journalist Austin Tice in Syria?
I've known about it for a long time, and it's a very sad situation. I think his mother is a wonderful woman. She's working so hard to find her son. It's a tough situation. I know it very well. A very tough situation.
President Joe Biden.
She's a great mother, that I can say.
President Joe Biden, before he left office, said he believed Tice was alive. What's your thought?
Does he know he's alive? That's my thought. Does he know he's alive? You know, when I watched that could have been solved many years ago if they did the right thing. They just didn't do the right thing. The mother is like this wonderful woman that's desperately seeking her son. It's a tough situation. Really tough situation. I hope it works out. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Mr. President.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.